Hi friends, it's Tuesday, April 5th. It is after 3 p.m. We had the officially longest meeting that we've ever had here as a Pima County Supervisor. Started at 9, ended at about 3. We have a lot of issues, so alert. This might run a little longer than normal, but I will try to summarize as quickly as possible. The meeting started with the Land Acknowledgement Proclamation read by 8th grade student at Dodge Magnet School. He's a member of the Pascuayaqui tribe, Billy Romero. He did a great job. There was a little bit of technical issues, but I was so glad that he was able to join. We sponsored a proclamation for the YWCA, and the proclamation was Stand Against Racism Day, April 28th, and then Stand Against Racism Weekend, April 29th through May 1st. Please check out YWCA of Southern Arizona's website for more information on their campaign that's going on now. We had a presentation that has been, I think, postponed since January, February. I feel like every meeting it was on. That was a presentation by Chair Lea Marquez Peterson. She's the chair of the Arizona Corporation Commission. And she came to talk about, the state of energy in Arizona. And I took the opportunity to let her know how disappointed I was that the Arizona Corporation Commission voted against the continuation of the renewable energy standard and tariff. And what that did is it was passed by a all-Republican Arizona Corporation Commission board in 2006. And what that did is set the percentage to have 15% renewable energy by 2024. And so my argument is if we don't set the goal to get there, we're never going to. And this would have been a continuation of that policy that would make us 100% carbon emission free. And I believe the year was 2070. So it's not like it was happening tomorrow. They voted against it, talked a little bit about the energy costs for the consumer. And I didn't enjoy that argument, quite honestly. And right now we're currently at 11%, renewable energy. And I just think that is really not acceptable for where we are in Arizona and what people want to see. So I'm hoping that they will reconsider that position and hold all of our energy, TEP, APS, SRP, I think in Maricopa, hold them accountable to their voluntary mandates that they've set for themselves. They're more aggressive, which I think is great, and if we get there sooner, that's better. But I really like to see us move forward on that. We had John Harper from American Heritage Railroad come to speak to the board at our office's request about the Old Tucson. Old Tucson now has new owners, or new leasees, and he talked about the kind of things that they're going to be pushing for, honoring the historic nature of Old Tucson, really continuing the legacy of having movies there, of having a 5K, a 10K, mud runs, and special events like Nightfall. I know that's a biggie for a lot of us. And so they're planning on opening this year in September and starting with Nightfall. And then moving fairly quickly and changing the entire landscape for a holiday Christmas event is what he said. And they really want to focus on cross-cultural and multi-generational events because they want to make sure that more than just, children with kids or the athletes that are doing the mud run, that they have opportunities for a lot of people of a lot of different ages and backgrounds to participate and get back to Old Tucson. And that's the only way that the location is going to stay open, relevant, and successful. So I hope that we'll all go for their grand opening and support Old Tucson, because I know that we've all missed it, especially in the heart of District 5. Every time I drive by, it's just, I can't wait for that to open. We are naming the stage at Teatro Carmen after the Ronstadt family. The goal is to open up the Teatro Carmen after renovations by 2025. So it is a long process, but this is the same organization or individuals that helped rehab Fox Theater, and we know how gorgeous a place Fox Theater is. So we don't want to rush the renovations, but we also know that the costs of all of the supplies and the timelines are getting pushed back because of supply issues. So I guess that will be the 110th anniversary at Teatro Carmen. And so I'm hoping that we'll be able to see that location totally rehabbed. We had a long discussion about initial court appearances, and I don't know if everyone thought that we were going to have a discussion that was that long, but we had a lot of speakers that signed up to speak specifically about this issue. We it's an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Tucson that would extend the city magistrates doing initial court appearances. So we heard a lot of people talk about that. We had our county attorney, Laura Conover, chief of police, Chad Kazmar, Dr. Cherry Meeks from the NAACP, former deputy chief county attorney Amelia Kramer came, all of them speaking against the current practice. We also had Sheriff Nanos discuss it as well. It is really, this would extend, if we accepted this IGA, extend this current bad practice that we've established of a broken bail system. And so what we did is, and then we also had Judge Bergen and Judge Riojas speak in favor of the current process. We postponed the item until the 19th to get more information about what the language would look like if we were to extend it for 1 year or for even 6 months. Just to clarify, right now there is no contract. The contract expired. So I don't know what the rush is, but I want to make sure that we come up with a better solution than extending an IGA for 10 years for a system that is very clearly broken. So our county attorney waited almost 4 hours to discuss victim services with the board. She made a compelling argument that with limited resources, she had to make sure that the 53,995 calls that came into victim services in 2021 are handled as expeditiously and as sensitively as possible. And so she highlighted that there initially were different victim advocates set up at different court locations. And there's one in Green Valley that splits its time. And, her argument was, I have victim services that are like just completely slammed with caseloads that are closer to the city of Tucson. And in the city of Tucson and in these rural areas, I have people that are sitting there that don't have a caseload. And so she had to make the decision, and I think she clearly articulated how those services are still going to be available to everyone in Pima County. We're just not going to have an individual sitting in a courthouse, Monday through Friday, that they might be there 1 day a week, but that the services will be available. And the other argument she made is that many of the victims' services that are needed are in the evening. And so it really doesn't matter what courthouse a person is located in. She's going to dispatch victim advocates depending on where they live, which makes a ton of sense. Health department funding. We had an item requested by Supervisor Matt Hines that would increase funding to the department by $6 million. This item was postponed. I seconded the item. It was postponed after a really healthy discussion and talked about meeting closer to the adoption of the overall Pima County budget and also the legislative budget and the federal budget. Like, what other funds are going to be coming in? I think our big concern is by population, we are underfunding the Pima County Health Department, and we saw the ramifications of that that funding loss over when we had to deal with the pandemic and didn't have the staffing available. So we want to make sure that we're ready for any issue, but also to talk about some of the other programs that the health department is responsible for, including education programs, addressing health disparities, vaccination clinics, and this is not just COVID, we're talking vaccination in general. So I'd like to see us really support the health department, and I that's why I'm in favor of that, but it's going to come back in an upcoming meeting. The biggest issue is we accepted, and I know that is something that people are really interested in. We accepted the resignation of Chuck Huckelberry effective immediately. He dedicated nearly 50 years of service to Pima County in different positions and 28 years as county administrator. Now I know that I have not always agreed with Mr. Huckelberry, and I also was very frustrated with the lack of information that was provided regarding his resignation and also his retirement from Pima County in July. I can discuss details about that, but quite honestly, I just want to thank him for his service and he accept his resignation. There are a lot of really positive things that have happened as a result of Mr. Huckelberry being a part of Pima County, and I don't want all of the positive to be clouded by current events. So thank you to Mr. Huckelberry for years of service. Thank you to his family for loaning him to Pima County for nearly 50 years, and I wish him well. I wish him a speedy recovery and full recovery, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. We also appointed Jan Lesher as our county administrator. She is the first female elected or appointed to this position, and she is eminently qualified for this position, and I'm happy to support her. I do think that her administration, because now it's her administration, it's all of us together, it's going to be different than Mr. Huckelberry's, and I know that she learned a lot working as his deputy administrator for the last 6 years, but she also has a lot of experience. She worked for Janet Napolitano when she was governor as her regional director, then moved with her as a chief of staff in the Department of Homeland Security. She has a background in communications. She had a company that was specifically for, communications, and she's dedicated her life to Tucson and Pima County, and I am looking forward to working with her and to make some suggestions as to how we can increase the transparency in Pima County's budget and with all of the other issues that as it relates to different departments, because this recent article that discussed the retirement of Mr. Huckelberry highlighted some concerns for me that I know it highlighted for a lot of people. I'm looking forward to increased communication and transparency. And with that, I will say it is Arizona Gives Day. And so I hope you will all give local and check out, any of your nonprofits nearby. I did donate to the YWCA, and I think they're doing a great job there. I'm on their board, but also they have Teen Court, which has a special place in my heart, and so I dedicated funding for Teen Court. Our next meeting is going to be on Tuesday, April 19th, and we are going to have a plática on sustainability in Pima County, and that will be held April 13th at 3:30 p.m. online, so I hope you'll join us. Thank you so much for paying attention to Pima County politics and for sticking with this kind of long update. Stay safe, my friends.